What's up, everybody? You are listening to the Beyond the Breakdown podcast, and I am the regular host, JT. We are missing our co-host tonight. She is out doing some different schedulings, but we hope to have her back on the next episode. Tonight, I am joined by Virginia Beach rockers Ocean Asylum. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Heck yeah. So starting from top, and then we'll just go down to whoever wants to introduce themselves. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then say what you do in the band.
I'm Rob. I play drums.
Oh, nice.
I'm Wes, play guitar.
I'm Ricky Fowl, and I make noise with my face. Sometimes pretty, sometimes not so pretty, but we do our best.
I'm liking the hair, Ricky.
I was trying to find a silly hat to wear, and I couldn't find one. I have one that I have a squid hat. I couldn't find it, so.
Hey, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And as a fellow vocalist, I also appreciate making noises with my face that sometimes may sound like a squalling dog and other times like music. So we're just going to hit the ground running, guys. I want to know, how did Ocean Asylum come together, and what's the story behind the name?
I'll take this one. I started out trying to do a Dillinger cover band, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I did the Craigslist post, like, who wants to do some Dillinger songs? And a couple people hit back, and I found, some good characters to join up with.
Okay.
And then once we got a good singer, we decided, hey, let's write some originals.
So it's definitely a way different sound than Dillinger Escape. So, I mean, what was it kind of like, carving out your sound? What influences did you guys have that kind of brought you to be what is now Ocean Asylum?
My influences for this were really Gojira, the math metal type thing. But once I got these other guys, we all have different influences. Like, what were you thinking, Wes, for this project?
For this first album, I know when Rob was showing me some of the demos, I did hear a little Between the Buried and Me influence, and that definitely sparked my interest. And I was like, oh yeah, this part. There's a couple of like standout parts for me that just really hits home for me. That was like, yeah, that's sick. So, Ricky?
Yeah, the keyboard shortcut for the unmute wasn't working. So my background is kind of like classic rock, but I really love singing reggae. I love singing like clean reggae, island vibes, that kind of thing. Spent a lot of time in the tropics in the Pacific, and that's just where I live. So when I saw that, they gave me a couple of Dillinger songs to try to cover, and in my head I'm thinking, you guys probably want someone else, because I don't know if I can do this. So it kind of evolved from that, where we'll see what you sound like, and then it grew.
Wow. So, I mean, coming in as a vocalist and then not necessarily having that background, was it daunting to kind of take on that task?
When they sent me some of the demos, some of the stuff that are now full songs that were pre-recorded, I was thinking to I don't know how to write lyrics for this. I don't know how to sing to this, but we figured it out. It was a growing process. These guys are exceptional musicians, and they have helped me along the way. Again, I just make noise with my face. I sing what sounds right in my head, and sometimes it's right, and sometimes I need a little bit of help. But in the end, we get there.
Hell yeah, man. You guys definitely have a unique sound that I think is like cathartic and also energetic in the same way. It's like nostalgia, but at the same time brand new. So it just gets the senses going in overdrive for me.
That's interesting.
So How would you guys actually describe your sound to somebody that's never heard you?
Good question. I'd start out by telling them, like, all right, you know me, you know how I like the really, really heavy stuff, but minus the growly stuff, the Cookie Monster vocals. We got an actual singer. So check this out. This might actually like be more palatable to the average listener who's not really deep into metal, you know?
Yeah.
We've been called horny Deftones. What was that review, Wes, where they like it was like subtle energy or something like that?
Like, yeah, it was like subdued ferocity.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that. I also like the horny Deftones that you got there. So I mean, I can hear it. You definitely got a little bit of the Chino sound to your vocal. So I also kind of wanted to ask you guys, what was the songwriting process like for you? Do you guys come up with the riffs, the lyrics, or just like gotta be in a certain mood?
So I'll at least take the lyrics portion of this. A lot of times what happens is someone will pre-record a riff. It's usually Wes, or if it's Austin, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, active duty military, it's a thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they'll do something and then it'll click somebody else's inspiration. Like, oh yeah, no, I can lay down some drums to that. Or the bass, this is what the bass needs to do. And usually I will hear the finished product, or when we're practicing, I'll just start like singing random shit. And sometimes it clicks. And I think to myself, okay, what can go here? And eventually I'll get the syllables in my head and I'll turn those into lyrics. As far as the actual, like what the songs are about, that evolves over time.
Yeah, instrumentally it's a mixed bag. Like so for this first album, Rob kind of had a demo put together that he showed me, and he had everything in Guitar Pro. And so we sat down together and he played me some of it, and then we put our heads together to then kind of tweak some of the arrangement and the structure of it a little bit, and add layers and kind of build it and mold it into what the final product. And that also included bringing in Austin on bass and having him. We had spots set aside, like, okay, bass has got to do something cool here, and kind of gave him a clean slate to sort of paint his art on. And and then Rob did his drum thing. And that this new album is even more collaborative than that. Like, I think everybody has thrown ideas into the pot, and I think I'm excited for this next one to come out. But
we got a new one coming too.
Yeah. So if you like the first one, wait till you hear the next one.
Yeah, we're getting ready to get into the whole commitment, or is it commitment or committed EP? Committed.
It's okay.
I have been actually listening to it all freaking day, man. Like, the first song really caught me off guard, and I was like, "What?"
That was kind of the
That
goal.
was Austin's idea to put that in the front.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it serves as I don't even know how to say it. I guess it serves like a poignant mark on the EP, because you're like, what the hell? Wait a minute, this sounds nothing like the rest of the EP, but it makes it stand out so much more, in my opinion.
Especially if you see the album cover art and you're looking at this like, oh, it's definitely a death metal band, and then you hear the first track, you're like, wait, what? That was intentional. We try to subvert expectations a little bit.
I got a lot of like Incubus vibes from that track.
Ooh, nice.
That's good comparison. I like that.
And I was like, I really want to pick their brain. And what was like the process for creating that song?
That was just an acoustic guitar piece that I had, and I was like, hey, let's just do a really simple intro. Let's not put a whole bunch of things on this, And then everybody was like, let's put a bunch of stuff on it. And it just grew and grew and grew. And they were like, that should be the opener. It kind of lays out the story of the other 3 songs,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Rob had this chord progression on an acoustic guitar, and it was like, that sounds cool. And immediately, like, Austin and I both just kind of like ideas. It just like, we heard so much potential in it, and we're just like, all right, let's try this, let's try that. And yeah, like Rob said, it just turned into something way more in depth than he initially intended. And but it was kind of that's the magic of it,
That's kind of the story with us. Everything kind of becomes something different and better, as we keep working on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I know when I was listening to it, I was like, the more I listen to it, it's like the more layers I found in the vocals and the instruments and everything. I was like, it's just like a really cool jam to just kind of get lost in. I listened to it, I think, like 10 times at work this morning.
Well, thank you.
So I kind of want to know, including the Committed EP, what do you think is a song of yours that would best define who Ocean Asylum is? Is it one that we've heard, or is it one that's not released?
Not released yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Because we're much more confident in our our own abilities. I wasn't really a drummer yet when I recorded that. I'm a lot better than that. But we blend together a lot better. That was a little bit more of, hey, this is my stuff. Everybody put your thing on it. Now it's a little bit of, we got everybody's ideas coming, on this next one.
Yeah, it's like full melting pot. And like Rob's saying, it's like the drumming. The first album, like he started out as a guitar player when he started this project. So he and I initially were playing guitar together, and then he switched to drums out of necessity and just kind of built up his chops. And so yeah, he plays all the instruments too, bass, guitar, drums. So like that's a huge advantage when it comes to writing music, because he understands all the instruments,
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
I gotta ask you, is it gonna be in the same vein as the EP, or are you gonna kind of experiment a little bit?
It's got a little bit more. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the experimentation comes a lot. We wanted to try to tell a story without telling a story of themes, and not necessarily, one song is the beginning, the next song is, but it's more thematic. So we discuss mental health, depression, regret, and then happier feelings as well. But it's a overarching thematic, emotional, not roller coaster, because that sounds a little too extreme, but it's a fun ride.
I as a mental
It's definitely
health
still
advocate,
us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still
go ahead,
heavy,
please.
and it's still us, but I think it's a deeper version of us now. We're getting better and better.
Yeah,
but there will be some. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it kind of showcases like our range. Yeah.
I'm definitely excited for this one. As a mental health advocate, I always kind of love getting to hear some of people's journeys and the things that they end up either overcoming or sadly, having to deal with for the rest of their life. And I'm glad that you all are touching on those topics, because now more than ever is a time that those really need to be brought to the light.
I agree. Yeah. It's
and
kind of a
we got to be
topic.
genuine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to make it real so people can actually connect to it,
I agree. And there's, like you said, there's nothing better than being 100% genuine. You pour your heart into it, and that's what you will get from the fan that is listening to it. They'll give their heart to the music that they're listening to.
Yeah, I agree.
So do you guys have like a favorite deep cut that you think is actually underrated by the fans?
Of the committed, not really.
No,
It's hard between just those four. You know.
Yeah.
that's true. That is very true. I didn't think about it when I wrote that question. I was like, well, that would be a really cool one. And then I'm like,
I don't think when we play it live, I don't think people quite get the acoustic song yet. We played the acoustic song to start the set too. And it's I like that people don't get it. It's like all these super metal death chorus, and then we start with this acoustic, everybody turns around, and then they,
Yep. Yeah, every local band comes out on the stage and they go play the heaviest thing right out of the gate, and like, out, we're gonna throw a curveball.
Jack Johnson Club is down the hallway. I mean,
well, I mean, that's got to throw everybody for a loop when you see you all up on the stage and then you just break out into an acoustic track and they're like, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for.
Yeah, ears perk up. They wait, what? This is different.
Well, continuing to talk about the EP, I really wanted to also ask you about just all of the tracks in general. I think one of my favorites on it was well, I mean, they're all really great, but my favorite standout was My Shadow Brings Death. What was the story behind the making of that one?
So,
like, musically or lyrically?
Both.
Okay, take the music first, because lyrics are weird.
I mean, Rob.
That was actually the first riff I wrote for the EP, and I was trying to write something. I'm a big like comic book superhero guy, and I wanted to write something action packed. Like, what would a battle scene have? You know, so that first riff was very, like. In fact, all these songs were named after like the Next Generation X-Men.
Dude,
so
Uncanny X-Men right here.
So do you know who Chamber, the character Chamber?
Yes.
That first riff was about Chamber, basically a battle.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was
But
the working title.
To make something like. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was the working title for the song before we had lyrics. Was Chamber.
Yep.
Man.
Just action. I wanted to write, how like a lot of times I'll write a song and it'll become something, but I wanted to have the idea of what I wanted to become before I wrote it to challenge myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and that's the riff that came out.
And that's one of the things I dig about Rob's writing style. Like, when he was showing me the demos of this, like, it had a cinematic kind of vibe to it in a certain way. It definitely told a story without even having any vocals or lyrics. There was definitely felt like there was a story being told.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I don't remember what movie I was watching, but it had something to do with dragons. I think it was one of the Hobbit movies where Smaug is like destroying the town, and what came in my head, I had a couple of White Claws, and I had the song playing over and over again because I didn't want to disappoint them. This was still when I was maybe a month or two into the project. And I was thinking about what would be going through a dragon's head as it's like torching these motherfuckers. So in the end, it became is it a dragon thinking this, or is it the thoughts of like a fighter pilot as he's raining death upon people? So that was kind of what was in my head. It kind of turned into a battle themed song anyway, because that's what it sounded like to me too. I didn't even hear this was written as a battle until later, I think, as we were refining the lyrics in the end.
Whoa. In all the answers I was expecting, that was not even on the top like 50. You all managed to join my love of comic books and my love of Lord of the Rings, and I'm just like, you just became my favorite band. So moving on into the other tracks, tell me what both the music and the lyric inspiration behind Penance was.
Start with lyric, Rick.
So the fun fact about this song is Rob and I wrote it in about 10 minutes right before we recorded it. I had some lyrics written. We keep a Google Doc open, like a shared doc between all of us. And occasionally I'll wake up and be like, oh yeah, that could be a thing. And I'll just write down random ass poetry or whatever. And sometimes we just pull lyrics from that, and sometimes it fits and it works. This was one of those times. Those lyrics, I think, were originally pulled from a song or a poem that I had written about somebody's like drug addict hookup. I know. So, but it turned into this with Penance, this like haunting apparition type character that's like not necessarily a ghost, but maybe a ghost from your past. How that turned out. So what is it? She's still floating, rise up haunting, flash flood, lost love. Am I enough? So it's like somebody having this internal turmoil battle with themselves. And we pulled it from my drug addict hookup poem, in about 10 minutes. I believe Rob came up with the melody because I couldn't do it. I was trying my best, and we shortened it until what it became. So
Yeah,
instead of a lot of word, why say many word when little word do good?
It was crazy because I'm sitting in the studio with these guys. Yeah, I'm sitting in the studio with these guys, and like I have never heard the vocals ever because they hadn't been written yet. We've recorded all the instruments and stuff, and Rob and Ricky are just putting their heads together and making it happen, and like it really elevated the song for me because there was sort of this Alice in Chains type vibe happening that I really liked. Had that haunting sort of thing, and I was like, oh, this song just got infinitely better. Hell yeah, Ricky. Hell yeah, Rob.
Yeah.
In the chorus, we kind of have like a call and response, between the harsh and the clean.
Yeah, the call and response type vocal, it reminded me, it's kind of taboo to mention this band now, but it reminded me a lot of like As I Lay Dying and Fit for an Autopsy, even, things like that. And it really stands out.
Well, speaking of taboo, Adam Warren was on the track.
Yes.
Yes,
he was
in the news right now.
Yeah, that's very true. I dare to ask it, but what was it like working with Adam Warren?
He was really cool. He was really approachable. We just sent him an email. Hey, do you want to do something on this? And he was like, that song is pretty cool. Yeah, I would love to do something, because he got to do something outside his ordinary. He got to do some melody type things,
Yeah.
And he went live recording it for like hours all day, and, just live streaming while he was working on it. It was really cool, so nothing really bad to say about Adam at all.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see his process. He streamed it on Twitch, and everybody in the band was watching. And we're like, "Oh, damn, he's killing it. This is awesome." And it was cool that I think he was able to, like Rob said, get outside of his sort of what's expected of him from Oceano, and he was able to actually show that he's got more range, more abilities, and really surprised me. I was like, "Dang, this guy is killing it." So yeah, he was a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you guys had a good experience with it, at least, though, and it definitely shines through on the track. It really does.
Yeah, he did a good job.
So that leads us to the last song, which is Voluntary Excommunication. Same kind of thing. What was the inspiration behind the music and the lyrics?
I think it all started from that "fuck your faith," kind of bridge part, and then everything went kind of, like in on, our feelings on religion from there.
Yeah,
that set the tone.
So I'm going to guess that you're probably a lot like me in the sense that you don't really care for religion.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for everybody in the band, but yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I always have said, I mean, I grew up in a denomination of Christianity where I was not the preacher's kid, but I was a preacher's kid, in that my dad is was a music minister, so I was pretty much at church at like 6 o'clock in the morning, left at like 2, and I was sitting there bored to tears. And I thought everyone was like me. I'll lay off on that because it'll turn into a religious thing. But essentially, I will say that I used to be religious, but then I got better. So,
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I do believe that there is a place for it. I've seen people that have been completely different people, and they got over their addictions or their fears, any kind of super negative thing about themselves, because they found that, like, hey, cool, all power to you. I respect that you believe it. I don't believe it myself, but more power to you. Whatever helps you get through the day, I'm here for you, and I'm your ally in it.
Yeah, that's generally
It's
how I
not
feel.
necessarily like, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Same as Ricky. He's like, I went to church as a kid, and just as I got older, just I saw through the bullshit. And hey, for me, it's more like the organized aspect of it, organized religion, and the rules, and the where it just gets. But I don't knock anybody for their faith, and if it helps them and their spirituality of it all, there's something to be said for that. But just the organized aspect of it, power corrupts.
If they really need somebody to tell them what to do, good for them.
Yeah. Hey, I'm right there with you guys. I agree that if that's what somebody needs, then, good for them. For me, much like Ricky, I grew up the son of a Pentecostal preacher. So it was like I had a trigger warning here. I had a drug problem because I was drugged to church every freaking Sunday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, you name it. Not trying to crap on it now. It's just, you grow up, and I don't want to speak for you all, but for me, it's like I found my own moral code. You kind of take pieces of all these things and you kind of make it into your own moral code, much like, Batman has a code.
Yeah, he doesn't want to kill anybody, but he'll make you drink through a straw for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Exactly.
When I was kind of honing it in, I was thinking more of the mega church, like these preachers that are making tens of millions of dollars. And one of the lines is in the chorus, false idols crave real attention. And that's what I thought of when I thought, like, you look at these guys, they're scamming people out of money. And I really, that's the part that I don't like.
Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what's crazy is, Ricky, if you were also like me, like you grew up watching a lot of these kinds of organizations, like on TV and things like that, and watching them operate and things, and then not knowing how they acted behind the scenes.
Yep, I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and that kind of helped me along my journey, as it were. I think we've probably crushed that topic, though. We don't want to turn people completely off. You're allowed to like whatever you like, and we love you for it.
Hey, look, here at the podcast, I don't discriminate. I have people of every faith on, and to me, like, as long as you're a good human being, I'm chill.
Fact.
So, moving on from the meaning behind the song, what was it like really doing the vocal style on that? Because I definitely feel like that's probably like one of the harshest ones on the EP.
So yes, as I said, coming from reggae and classic rock, it was a lot less. I've always liked. One of the first introductions I had to some super hardcore stuff was a band called Scar Cemetery, and I used to listen to them because back in the day I only had a bicycle. I only had a bicycle, and I had to ride 3 miles up a hill in Austin, Texas, in order to get to work. And reggae wasn't going to cut it to get my mental state. It's like I had to be pissed off. Like I'm going to be late for work. So one of the things that Scar Symmetry does very well, or did very well, is they have clean vocals over harsh growls or fry vocals. And I love how that, like, I call it in my head like a harmonious cacophony of those two like melded together. And I freaking love that. It just sounds so good to me that that was our first little soiree into putting that together. And the next EP has a good deal more of that, and I'm excited.
Ooh.
And Ricky is a ton better at screaming now too.
Oh yeah,
He's awesome now.
Yeah, I had to try to learn it to make sure that I wasn't going to damage my vocal cords or anything while I do it. So I wanted to learn it the right way, not develop any bad habits. So random YouTube channels and just doing it. And as soon as I felt any kind of pain, I was like, okay, I know exactly what muscles I was flexing, my tongue position. So I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I have a very pretty delicate voice, and I do not wish to lose it.
You know, it's crazy that people think when you do these kind of harsh vocals that it doesn't take talent, but you're actually like, you got to remember tongue placement. You got to remember the way that the mouth is shaped. You got to remember to engage your false vocals if that's what you're doing. And it's like, you know, there's so much that goes into it just to be dismissed as a talentless thing.
I'd say Will Ramos would beg to differ. That dude.
Dude. Will Ramos, for me, he's getting to be one of the goats of the deathcore scene, right? Like for me, it's always going to be Phil Bozeman and Mitch Lucker, and you know, it's just
Phil brought it on this newest album, didn't he?
Dude,
White Dapper, man.
Yeah, but you know, going into another topic, I want to ask you guys about the live show experience, if you're cool with that.
Yeah.
So, what's been the most insane thing to happen at a concert for any of you all?
Well, the most insane thing that happened that I can remember was not necessarily. That was when my band in Texas. I don't know if you want to hear about that or just specific to Ocean.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Say it.
Go. What was that?
Say it. Do it.
Oh, okay. One of the most insane things was witnessing a like sexual harassment, sexual assault, stopping the show. Like, hey, what the fuck is that guy doing over there? And getting him kicked the fuck out. That made me like my hair was raised, like, because you see it and you see the initial reaction of the guy going over, because I mean it's a bar, right? You go over and talk to people, but this guy was getting more pushy, and you can tell her body language. Anyway, so eventually got to the point where he was actually like grabbing her and like, not here, not today. Get that motherfucker out of here.
Damn, dude. Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. To even have to witness that, like, it's a fucking debauchery.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm down for a good debauchery as long as everyone is happy and involved and consenting in said debauchery.
Exactly.
As a debaucherous fellow myself, yes.
Wes, Rob, how about you guys?
I mean,
My mom came to a show, and people were like after the show, you know, buying CDs and stuff. And this was an old band I was in, and somebody took the CD and went to my mom and got her to sign it. That was weird.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
I don't really have much other than that. Yeah.
What was her reaction to that then? Was it just like surprise?
My mom was probably pretty embarrassed. She doesn't do that stuff.
Understandable. What about you, Wes?
Nothing crazy with Ocean Asylum. Every show's been pretty, sort of by the book, if you will. Very professional, but I guess if we're gonna dig deep for some interesting live stuff. Back when I was 19 years old and in the Navy, I had I was on the USS Enterprise, and the chief of my shop, him and this other guy was a first class, started a band, and they started recruiting people and found out I play guitar, brought me into the band. So we're rehearsing like twice a week, 3 times a week during the cruise. And then when about 4 months in, we go to Jebel Ali, it's in the United Arab Emirates, and it's the only place where the aircraft carrier can actually go pier side. And right off the pier is a compound where all of us military folks can go, and they've got like American food like KFCs and McDonald's and stuff like that. And MWR has a stage, and they have live performances and stuff. And so if you don't want to go into Bali, you can still have fun. Well, the threat con conditions that day were high enough where, sorry guys, you can't go outside the compound. You can leave the ship, go in the compound, but that's it. We're like, damn it, we were out to sea for like 45 straight days, and everybody's just like, they just want to let loose. So 3-section duty. So there's like a third of the ship is still on the ship. 2/3 of the ship are now on liberty. They're out there getting drunk. We get to play the stage in front of like 3,000 people.
Oh, dude.
And all of them drunk and having a good time. And we got like half an hour, I think. And one of the songs that we played was Metallica's Nothing Else Matters. And so we played a couple of classic rock tunes, some for the older crowd, but this being Metallica being the newer song and for the younger audience. And we get to that guitar solo, and it's my time to shine. Hit the button, turn on that lead guitar sound, just rip the solo, and just everybody's like, yeah, just drunk off their ass, just loving it. For the next 2 months of the cruise, I'm a freaking celebrity. So everybody sees me, dude. So right. That was cool.
That's pretty sick, man.
Kind of reminded me of the night we played before Fight From Within. At the end of the night, they kind of made an announcement like, "Hey, we're gonna go tear up a karaoke bar after this. If you're down, it's this." I stayed to the end. I try to most nights as long as I don't have like work the next day or whatever. And they, I helped them put everything up, and they're like, okay, well, I'll see you guys at the karaoke. He's like, man, just come on the bus with us. And that was a fun experience, showing up to the karaoke bar and getting out of the tour bus with Fight From Within, and just having a bunch of people come and run up. It's like, oh my God, they actually came. And it was just a fun experience. Probably not so fun for the karaoke DJ, because as soon as we got in, we started just blasting, fry vocals, growling to whatever song it was. Sweet Caroline. It was fucking hilarious.
So what are you going to do when they're doing that for Ocean Asylum, and you're just going to be like, oh, hey, we're going to tear down this karaoke bar over here?
Probably the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Perfect answer. So I want to know, because I have a few odd eccentricities about me before I do a show. Do you all have any pre-show rituals that you have to do?
Pre-recording? Yeah, but pre-show, just no drink until after for me.
I will never eat probably like 8 hours before the show. I'll have water. I might have one alcoholic beverage at the venue just to kind of break it down a little bit. But I don't like being drunk, because nobody likes a karaoke. Different story. But if you're on stage like, hey, well, Ocean Asylum, yeah, like no one wants to hear you slur your fucking words ever. But that's just, I guess it's not a ritual. It's more of I don't want to be burping during the music, because that's just one, annoying, and two, it sucks because you can't be as best as you can be. That's one ritual. The second one that I have is about 5 minutes before about to go on, I'll go to the bathroom and just splash water on my face, like, you fucking got this, let's go. Energy.
Yeah, Maximum effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. My only ritual is I grab my guitar. I'll just kind of sit off the side and just kind of warm up. That's it.
Oh yeah.
I don't play any drums the day of. Usually, I hope I'm all prepared before. I don't do any warm ups. I should be good. You know, I don't like playing drums before I play drums.
Now I've never heard that one before. I've always heard that.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, like drummers especially usually like to play at least a couple hours before a show or something just to get warmed up and get the ligaments moving and all that. So that's crazy.
Well, one, I'm over prepared the night before. You know, I probably played the set, 15 times yesterday to make sure that I don't have to play today. So I compensate.
Hey, I mean, if it works for you, that's all that matters.
I'm not a drummer.
Well, I mean, you could have fooled me. But Ricky, going back to your ritual of drinking water. So, have you ever gotten the hiccups while you're trying to perform?
No, but now that you said that, I guarantee you, the next show, this motherfucker, how dare he? I've not gotten the hiccups, and that might have to do with not eating, so I'm not swallowing a bunch of air or whatever the fuck causes the hiccups. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So no hiccups just yet. I have had a case my first couple shows back in when I started doing this. I'm burping on stage, and that's a moment where it was a cover band at the time. It was like, point the microphone towards the crowd. They got this. They know the song. They're a bunch of drunk idiots in a bar, And by idiots, I mean lovely patrons.
I've had it happen one time. Thankfully, it was only at practice, but I was like, "Oh my god, this is the worst." You just put your hair down and you're like, well, if I headbang hard enough, they won't realize that I just completely fucked up the entire verse by hiccuping into the microphone. So
that would kill me. A couple of our songs have very soft music and very obvious clean vocals, and oh man, that would tear me up. That I would listen to that over and over again, and if you have the hiccups, there's nothing you can do. But still, I would hate that. I'm getting secondhand embarrassment right now.
Right? Well, hopefully Murphy's Law doesn't happen on you, so it never happens. So another question I got for you guys is, what's the weirdest thing that a fan of the band has ever said to you guys?
It's really weird to see people that you don't know mouthing the words that you wrote. So not necessarily.
Are people mouthing our words?
Just actions. So
people are already mouthing our words.
It was I think Austin's family, but still.
Oh yeah.
But still, I don't really know. I know them, but I don't know them that well.
His daughter was mouthing it. Yeah.
Yeah, his daughter was singing it apparently.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So seeing that was super impactful. Like I could understand like my girlfriend doing that, because I play the songs a lot and she knows them. But seeing somebody else that's outside of my immediate bubble doing that, it was pretty impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that's a goal for me. Like, I hope to one day get to where the music that I create inspires somebody or helps somebody through a time, and then to see them mouthing it back to you, it's like it's euphoric, I would imagine. But so another question I got for you guys, and this is for everybody, so you all have your own individual answers. If you could tour with any band, past or present, who would it be?
Hmm.
Man, like, okay, one band that I would love to tour with, but we would not fit the bill. Like, it would be a really weird combination. It would be Dream Theater, just because I'm a huge John Petrucci fan. But I think more realistically, Between the Buried and Me would be very cool because I think musical style wise, I think we would fit that ticket.
Yeah.
And you could probably learn a lot from those guys. They've been doing it for a while.
I have one answer, Dillinger. I want to go crazy like them.
I believe you.
Just seeing another Dillinger show would make it for me.
To stay on similarity, maybe Bring Me the Horizon or Pierce the Veil would be super cool. But if it was any band and it didn't matter, Queen.
Oh,
damn.
That
that's a good one.
knows how to have a good time. Woo!
Yeah.
So I'm just imagining this festival. We got Dillinger Escape Plan. We got Queen. We got Bring Me the Horizon. We got Dream Theater. And and then we have fucking
the horny Deftones.
The horny Deftones here. I would need to throw Converge in there as well, just to absolutely destroy everything. Jane Doe, underrated album, Rob.
Or the Eagles Become Vultures album.
Ooh.
I like that one too.
There's not many people that know Converge, and I'm like, how do you not?
I would go to that tour.
Right? So here's another thing that I kind of want to keep picking your all's brain about. I hope I'm not taking too much of your time right now.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I got nothing going on. I don't have work tomorrow. Life's good. Keep it rolling.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a fun, lighthearted time. So if each of you had a spirit animal, what would it be?
So my animal of choice has always been a raven or a crow, whichever one. I have a giant raven tattooed on my back, and the whole idea behind my name, Ricky Fowl, is based on a really old character that me and my friend made up about a crow who wanted to break into the rap industry in the animal kingdom. I know, follow me here, okay? That character's name was Young Dickbird. And Young Dickbird did a lot of what DJ Khaled does. He doesn't really make any music himself. Rob, are you all right?
I'm fine. This is great.
So
Okay.
Young Dickbird is trying to break into the rap
So
industry.
he doesn't make any music himself, okay? He just follows other people's tracks and does the same old, like another one, that kind of shit. He doesn't make anything himself. At any rate, when I started to be more open about show business, I wanted to pick my own name, and it couldn't be Young Dickbird, okay? They would have laughed at me. So I did the next best thing. So Dick, Richard, Ricky, Bird, Fowl, Ricky Fowl.
That's how that came about. Holy shit.
Yeah. So my spirit animal is actually part of my name.
And that's why he's our lead singer. That shit.
Yeah.
Your band has lore all revolving around a Dickbird now. So
Dickbird.
I can't believe I never told you guys that. You
That's
never
gotta be
asked.
a song title, man.
You never asked. You're like, oh yeah, Ricky Fowl, that's his name.
Yeah, next album title, Dickbird.
Young Dickbird.
Love it.
it's just a phallic-looking bird on the side.
Big beak.
That name came about because I've witnessed crows and not necessarily ravens, because I don't think I've ever seen a raven, but any kind of corvid, they will mess with creatures. I've seen them chasing bunnies and squirrels, just fucking with them. And I was like, yeah, crows are a bunch of dicks. And we kind of created that character, and it has evolved into my name. So that's my spirit animal. That was a long answer, but there you go. You have it now.
That's probably the most interesting stage name I've heard.
My spirit, I guess. I mean, my gut instinct, knee jerk reaction was just wolf. Like, I just think they're cool, and the idea of the pack animal, strength in numbers. So.
Hell yeah.
And me, I would be mongoose.
Okay.
Just fucking with
taking
snakes.
out the snake. Yeah.
Tiki Tavi up in here.
So are you not a snake fan per se?
I'm okay with snakes, more the metaphorical type of snakes that might mess with human interaction.
Gotcha. I follow along with you. I'm not that dumb sometimes. So if you had to describe your band using only memes, which ones would you pick? And Dickbird now has to be a meme. You need a shirt.
I think
Dickbird.
in like our little chats, you know how like our intro song was kind of like that kind of like confusing, like not what to expect. That meme with like Jason Momoa and like Henry Cavill coming up to like hit him was like voluntary excommunication coming to get, make me human.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that meme.
That's pretty good, actually.
I have. I like that one. I like that.
I was gonna go with something
thinking of the dude in the red shirt turning back to look at the other girl with the exact same thing. The make me human and then voluntary excommunication. Looking, yeah, that's what I was gonna go with. But I like yours better because.
Yeah, I had thoughts similar with make me human going into to Vex was just like Ron Burgundy going, well, that escalated quickly.
All very, very solid choices. So, who is the most chaotic member of the band, and who's the responsible one?
Now, define chaotic. Like chaotic as a persona, or chaotic as a personality trait?
As a personality trait. We'll stick with that.
I'm loud. I don't know if that makes me chaotic. It takes... This is my whisper, and usually it makes people back up a little bit. So I guess I could describe that as chaotic.
I think after we play a show, Ricky talks to everybody in the club. Probably 7 times.
Yeah.
He's good networker. He's good extrovert. I can't do that. He's good at that stuff. Charismatic guy. We need it. I think it's him.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll take it.
So then, who would be the most responsible?
I mean, Rob and I are pretty organized, and like when it comes to scheduling and punctuality and all that kind of stuff, keeping all the different we'll exchange guitar profiles as we're working with writing songs and sending different variations to each other, and I think all 4 of us are pretty organized, but I guess if I had to pick between me or Rob, I guess.
Hell yeah.
I think Wes. I have a little bit more of a limit. You have more patience, I think.
I feel like every band has that one that is kind of like the father that's just telling you, all right, now we got to do this on this time and this on this time.
Oh, that's Rob.
That's me, I guess.
That's Rob.
Yeah.
I guess it's just like, aspects of being a leader, like it's what helps drive bands to greatness too. So, I mean, it's definitely not something to be discounted.
Yeah.
So Are you all okay with just kind of touching on a few things revolving around mental health and some of the music industry?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. So, how do you guys deal with burnout and just mental health struggles as musicians?
Uh, I mean, music has
Write
always
music.
been, yeah, that's been my
Yeah.
escape, man. Like when I'm burned out with work or just adult, being an adult, responsible adult, yeah, just music is just that escape. It's great.
It's a fun outlet. One of my favorite things that I've read and agree with is that metalheads are super awesome, nice, relaxed people cosplaying as angry people, uh, because it's a great outlet. After a show, I am relaxed, happy, energized. Sometimes I do get a little not necessarily frustrated, but burnt out if I just can't figure something out. If I need to write lyrics or come up with new melodies, that kind of stops me a little bit. But Wes and Rob and Austin are usually pretty good about igniting my inspiration, if you will. So that could be burnout, but it's not burnout. It really isn't. It's just part of the process, because you don't want to just come with the first thing that you set forth. I mean, everything just builds up better and better as long as everyone can take a crack at it. That'd be my thought.
Yeah, and even just going to practice with the guys, and the four of us in a room, getting loud and rehearsing the set, and just there's a real visceral sort of response where like I could have had a stressful day, but then we go into practice and we're loud and we are connecting musically, like just synced in together, locked in. Like I don't know, just something happens, and afterward, it's like a huge stress relief, almost like exercising. You just feel better afterwards.
What do you mean almost like exercising? I'm a sweaty mess by the end of it. I know Rob is.
Before I formed Ocean Asylum, I was in several bands, playing drums here, playing guitar here, playing bass there. I got very burnt out. I said, to hell with music. None of these bands were any good anyways. I was the only one that was good in these bands, keeping them alive. So I said, forget this. 2 years later, I was like, I got to do something. It's the opposite of burnout now. Like, what's the only thing I can do? I'll play Dillinger. That's the only thing. It wasn't going to be, an originals band. It was just going to be like me playing some songs I don't have to worry about, So I kind of got burned out of doing too much, but I came back to it.
Yeah. No, I think sometimes people, and I'll include myself in this, I think sometimes people have to, not always, but sometimes step away from music to kind of learn to appreciate it again for what it does for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for me, I went through a phase where I was done with music for honestly a couple years. And I mean, I went to extremes. Like I threw away the notebooks of lyrics and just like I was done. And then one day I was listening to a song and I was like, fuck, man, I really miss making music.
Yeah.
What song was it?
It's an itch.
What song? It was, oh my God. It was Drag the Waters by Pantera.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a big Pantera fan, man. So like I was just going through a thing at that point, and this was, I mean, geez, probably every bit of 10 years ago now. And I heard that song and I was like, fuck, man, like I really want to create something that hits as hard as this is for me right now. And I was like, why did I ever give up? Because much like you all, it's a catharsis when you're either performing or writing or something. It is that creative outlet that you find to just be able to express the bullshit that's been going on in your world.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience.
Keep it in.
Yeah. Like I had a point where I was going through my divorce like years ago. It was like 2011, 2012, and just writing music. I'd play guitar just for fun, but like I had no drive to write anything. And then one day I saw it was Winter Sun. We Are the Son of Winter and Stars, and they had like a live performance of it in a studio setting. And I was like, who the fuck is this band? What is this? And it just blew my freaking mind. And I was like, that just reignited the fire in me. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, I realized I was kind of burnt out from people that didn't give a shit about the band. You know, not the music itself, just dragging these other people around. You know, having guys that are actually inputting creatively and doing work with me and committed. Yes.
Yeah.
It allows us not to be so burnout. You know.
Yeah, it's great when you get that core group of people just like you are with yourselves, and you all have something of value to give into the song, whether it be a lyric, a riff, an idea, just something. And it, for me, alleviates that pressure when you're writing something. And it's like, I don't have to do this all on my own. I don't have to carry any weight more than my own part.
Mm-hmm. It re-energizes you, you know, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So another question I kind of want to ask you, and you may not have experienced this yet, but maybe you have. The music industry is pretty rough at times. And what is a lesson that you might have learned, let's say, the hard way?
I don't know about learning it the hard way as much as it is not everybody's going to like your stuff, and that's okay, as long as you're writing music that you enjoy, that you want to listen to, and not writing it because you think somebody's, oh, this is going to be a hit. Like everything that I've worked on, even if I didn't like it at first, something in my head clicked where it was like, yes, this like not only speaks to me musically, but now lyrically as well. So the lesson would be write for yourself and for your band, and not for anyone else. Also, don't read comments.
Yeah, especially that last one.
I'd say what I learned is having been in numerous bands, and you'll write songs with people, and then you start having these little bickers about, like, when somebody leaves and they're like, well, that was my song. I came to the band with that thing. That's mine. And they start fighting over whose song is whose and this and that. And it's like, you end up like ruining friendships over it. And then some years later, you look back and I'm like, I don't know why we were fighting for that song. That song sucked. Like, I'm writing so much better music now than I was then. You know, I don't know why I was fighting for that. Just let it go, because, you know, as a musician, you're just going to continue to get better, and as a songwriter, everything. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's crazy.
Not being a perfectionist, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's to go along with that, like, you know, it's crazy what that little bit of hubris can do to you, and how it can destroy anything that you're working on if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice would you give to an up and coming band if they were trying to not necessarily make it, but just become a cohesive unit?
Find the right people. If you don't get it, yeah.
Oh, that was check your ego at the door. So simple. For being a front man, at least, I give the persona, the perception that, like, all eyes on me, take my picture, cheese. I am kind of like that, but that is also part of it's performative. I don't want, the last thing I want to do is ever like have people think like, oh, that guy, he's a fucking asshole. And sometimes I come across that way, especially if they are super introverted and I'm trying to talk to them. I'll read the room and I'll back off a little bit. But the ego is and that persona, you do need that, but not during practice, not during writing. You know, everybody has something to add. Every idea is good. Some ideas are better.
Advice I'd give:
learn to play drums.
Yeah, learn. Yeah, that's yes. Play to a metronome.
Player or a drummer. You always have a job.
You're not lying. And also, yes, huge thing with playing to a metronome. It will save you so much heartache.
Yep. And rehearse the hell
So
out of your
many of my
parts
old
before you go
bands,
to
I
the
had to
studio.
quit. I was in the studio with one of my bands, and the drummer was having a difficult time to do the metronome. His double kicks was not working. So I left to go get something to eat. Never came back.
So
he
was
he
it
just
like
went to get milk and
He's probably
cigarettes.
still working on it.
10 years later? No, so we are approaching the end of this episode, and first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much. This has been just a blast. You know, I say it every episode where I don't know what to expect because every artist or band that I bring on is different, and you all clearly have so much going for you and so much different creative energies that it really does create this amalgamation that is Ocean Asylum. So thank you for allowing it to be on the podcast.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Hell yeah. So here's the last questions, and that is, what's next for Ocean Asylum? Are there obviously the album that you guys are working on, but is there any tours that you're wanting to do?
We have a bunch of early, spring shows getting booked here in Virginia Beach. We would like to spread out a little bit, maybe do a larger festival here and there. We're putting our name out. We got the full album, coming out. All gears are kicking,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We have songs after that ready, another album.
Oh, wow. Already?
Yeah, we're kicking around some ideas. We got some songs. We got to, they're in demo form, but yeah.
So here's just a question off the top of my head. Do you ever get like release when you do a release? Do you ever get that remorse where it's like, maybe we should have done this song instead?
I could listen to Committed and think of exactly, like, not necessarily remorse, but why didn't we do a harmony here? This could have been done better. And I think that's just when you look, if you're an artist, you're a painter, and you look at some great painting that you did, and everyone tells you how great it is, but you only see the flaws. So at some point, you kind of have to step back and appreciate the art. Would be my answer there.
Yeah, it's a snapshot of where you were at the time, and we think we're better now as a band, and we think we're going to continue to get better. So I think the music's going to get just more and more interesting, and I think recording wise, it's going to get better and better, and we have a lot of potential.
And if there's ever something that we wanted to add maybe to an old song, we do it live still. We do how we want to do it live. They're still evolving live. We do things slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. It's always cool to, like you said, evolve and grow through each release and learn from the previous thing where you're like, oh, maybe we should have done this. Well, fuck it. Let's do it on this next one.
Yeah. Take our time and do the vocals right this time.
Yeah. Keep them in there for 5 hours instead of 4.
Yeah.
No, so where can everybody find Ocean Asylum?
All the normal social medias, Instagram, Facebook. I think we're on Spotify, Apple Music, easily searchable Ocean Asylum.
Yeah.
YouTube Music. I think we're on YouTube Music as well.
Yeah.
YouTube.
I haven't checked Amazon Music.
That's
this
what I'm
week.
Yeah, we're on there.
Yeah.
This week I'm going to put us up on Bandcamp.
Nice.
We were with a record label for a while, but I think our record label is folding. Shattered Earth Records, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
So we're going to be more independent. Looking forward.
Now, is the link tree that you guys use, is it still usable despite the record label kind of falling down?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so for those listening, that is linktr.ee/Rob Destroy. I
Oh
believe
no,
that is.
that's my solo project. That's not me. That's not Ocean.
Oh hell, okay, that was on the. I apologize. That was on the Ocean Asylum page. I do apologize.
Maybe that has everything on it. It's been a long time since I looked. It might have several things.
It had like the new I think it had the committed EP playlist on it and different things like that, but I don't know if it had everything for Ocean Asylum. So instead, listen.
It has everything. I'm on there right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Music video, EP playlist, pinnings, merch, Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
Cool. Then it worked.
Yeah, that does it.
Well, for now, that's where that's the best spot to find everything that you guys are on. my friends, this has just been great. We've gone all over the board tonight, and it's been a blast getting to know each and every one of your all stories. And it's the final question of the night, and that is, you went beyond the breakdown tonight. How the hell are you guys feeling?
Feeling like young Dick Bird.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the Dick Bird joke.
That's it. That's it.
There it is.
Young Dick Bird.
Young
There you
Dick
go.
Bird represent.
No longer Ricky Fowl.
Mm-hmm. The pleasant pheasant, the throbbing robin, young Dick.
Oh my God. We all have to be birds now.
Oh God.
Oh,
I'm sorry that I broke that news to you guys live in in this environment, but my God, I can't believe I hadn't told you guys that story yet.
fucking
It's
throbbing.
the perfect time.
Took me out, dude.
Oy.
I'm just imagining you all at a live show, and you're just like, and here's our rapper, and you just bring out young Dick Bird for like 5 minutes. Well, guys, thank you again. I will definitely be hitting you up probably in the next day or two just to, shoot the shit with you guys again, catch up, and be sure to tag the podcast in anything that you want to share around. We don't have the biggest following, but we have a pretty dedicated community. And just, I hope you guys have a wonderful night.
You too, man.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'll catch you all later.
All right. Appreciate it.
Later. Bye.
So everybody, that was Ocean Asylum, and man, I gotta say that was a hell of an episode. We went all over the place, from mental health to spirit animals to memes to inspirations, you name it. We kind of covered it all. A little bit of last minute things, just as a bit of housekeeping. Absent tonight is April. We are going through some schedule changes right now with our personal jobs, and we're just trying to line everything up to make it work. We're definitely wanting to get her back on to the next one if at all possible. But if not, we may be having to change the schedule around of the podcast just to benefit. Not too major, but, just something to make sure that she is able to get time on the podcast as well, because I do love having her here, and I know you all love getting to know her instead of me. But be sure to follow the podcast at Linktree, linktr.ee/Beyond the Breakdown Podcast. It is a brand new Linktree. I had to convert the old one. The Six Scars moniker of the podcast is now defunct. There's more to come on that very soon, but essentially Six Scars is just kind of kaput right now. So anything that you find with the podcast is going to be the Beyond the Breakdown Podcast. You can find us at Linktree. You can find us through Instagram by searching the Beyond the Breakdown Podcast, Facebook on Beyond the Breakdown Podcast, on Twitch. You can find us on twitch.tv/BTB pod. I cannot thank you enough for going beyond the breakdown with me tonight. And I can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. It's going to be yet another killer episode. We have Leviathan, an incredible band that you all do not want to miss, coming onto the podcast. So until next time, my friends, take care.